Hi everyone, welcome to Let's Celebrate TV Live. I'm your host, Peter Lee. With me today, as always, is the power behind the throne, the man behind the curtain, who's also my husband, Phil Gortimer.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're watching this from, or on replay. It's cocktail time.
Yeah, we haven't opened with a cocktail for a couple times, so I want us to do that today. Today's cocktail is an upcoming episode. This is an orange blossom, and actually it's a blood orange blossom because I found some blood oranges. They're not very bloody though. The first batch I made was very red, and the last, well, this one isn't quite, but it's still pretty. All right. All right, do you want to come get this?
I'll come get it. Hold on, let's see if I can get out of this spot. My new corner's a little tight.
Yeah. Okay. Cheers. And cheers to you.
And the recipe for this is in the show description.
That's quite nice. You want more?
A little bit more lemon oil.
Or orange oil?
That too.
One of those things. Okay. Are you happy now?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hold on, let me get comfy first.
Let me get my notes, and then you can start your spiel and see who's here and all that fun stuff.
All right, let's do our normal little split here.
There we are.
All right, welcome everyone. Let us know in chat where you're from, and once we get a bunch of people, we'll stick it up on the map and we'll see where everyone's from. Feel free to ask questions in the chat, and if I can, I'll bring them up when we can. We've got quite a few questions that were sent in from our poll that we did on Facebook about leftovers and what you do or don't do with them.
And we're going to be talking today and cooking. I haven't cooked much on these live streams. So
Speaking of that, you might want to turn that on.
Yes, dear. Thank you. Thank you for telling me. And do you want to do this?
You want to do this?
I can push buttons.
Pushing buttons and making them work. I can't even make them work sometimes.
All right. So it's all about leftovers today. And you know, whether you love them or hate them, leftovers are just a fact of life. Maybe it's a big batch of pasta or some old hot dogs or something, but you probably got something lurking in the back of your fridge from earlier this week or last week or 2 months ago, who knows? But if you're like me, you grew up eating leftovers and a lot of them. You know, that was a great way that our mothers didn't want to waste food, stretch a dollar, all those important things. But, you know, you might not have very fond feelings or memories of leftovers. So there seems to be two camps on leftovers. Do you love them or do you hate them? What do you think, dear? Where are you on leftovers? My mom was leftover queen. It's one way she stretched a dollar. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of our moms, whether they were housewives or working moms, always had to stretch a dollar. I have to stretch dollars.
I'll answer it in the way we are. We very rarely have leftovers because we shop every other day and we only cook enough just for that meal. So unless we're entertaining, leftovers don't happen much.
Right.
That doesn't mean we can't create stuff with it. We just don't have it a lot.
So I'm going to be cooking today, and I'm going to be using some leftovers to make a hash. And that's one of those things where transforming something into something else. So let's get some oil in the pan.
Haven't seen Kevin for a while.
Let me get my salt and pepper out that I forgot. My wife and I are big leftover eaters, makes a big meal. We have options during the week. I know some people are allergic. Yes, that's true. That's very true. I know people like that too. So I'm making I'm making hash today. I had some leftover roast beef from Christmas that I cryovac and then put in the freezer. And I have some leftover potatoes and other things and some common items in my pantry. And we'll get to all these. But I'm going to get some of this going. I'm putting in a red bell pepper and some onion into my friendly cast iron here. This is one of my new ones. I love it. We'll give a little salt and pepper. So yes, love them or hate them. I think there are people out there who just live for leftovers. I have a great leftover story. My grandmother, of course, born in 1910, I think, was not someone to waste any food, and she would use every part of every morsel of food in her house. I don't think she ever threw away something. It never got a chance to go bad even. And one time my sister was up staying with them for a week, and she came home, she said, the beets, I'll never eat beets again. And apparently, when we left, well, Saturday night when the whole family was up there, we had beets for dinner. Grandma put them away. We left, my sister stayed there. So Sunday night they had beets. Monday night they had beets, so forth and so on. And it got to be like Thursday, and there were like 2 slivers of beets left, and Grandma heated them up, and my sister finally said, I'll just eat the blankety blank beets, just I don't want to see them ever again. So she's a little traumatized by leftovers. And I think that's where a lot of people have their adversity come from. All right. But some things are better as leftovers, I think. Soups, stews, some sauces. I love to make marinara sauce or whatever pasta sauce I'm making a day before I'm going to use it. And then it just sits in the fridge overnight. All those flavors come together. And it just seems so much better than when you make it there. I know a lot of people only like fresh foods, but there's room in for both. All right. But this live stream is going to be a challenge for us. Like Phil said, we don't do leftovers very often. It's just the way I cook. I don't care for leftovers. That's all we seemed to eat when I was a kid. Yeah, a lot of families when I was growing up, a lot of the kids, their mothers would do like Thursday night was leftover night. So whatever they had, and then they had like a smorgasbord. You can eat whatever you want. You could have steak or leftover spaghetti, but it was all left over. My mom went back and forth with leftovers. Oftentimes she would cook a big meal on Sunday and we would eat it Monday and sometimes into Tuesday. But she always tried to transform it into something else, make it a little more interesting. She didn't always succeed at that.
Oh, and someone has noticed.
Notice what? Oh. Barry, your stream looks exceptionally clear. Do you want to field that, dear?
I do. Hold on. Let me find the right button. Yes, we are trying a new encoder today, and we are now encoding at 60 frames per second, so it should be a little clearer, and we should be standing out a little bit more from our backgrounds. Since we have a gig internet connection, we can do that. So, yeah, if you like it, let us know in the comments. If you don't like it, you think it's a little too crisp and we should go back to the old way, let us know there too. We're good.
Yep. So I always knew leftovers were coming. My mother had this little blue Pyrex casserole. It was almost like a loaf pan. And Sunday night, after Sunday night dinner, if the mashed potatoes got put in that, I knew they were going to get reheated the next day in that casserole and reheated to death. So I kind of always cringed when that little blue casserole came out of the cupboard. Leftovers equals lunch for work the next day. Yeah, Kevin, that's right. A lot of times it does. But when I was growing up and we had a family to feed, you didn't take leftovers for lunch. There were other things to have for lunch. But that seems to be a common thing now. People do that. One thing my mom used to make in that little blue Pyrex that I wish I had today, actually, if we had ham for Sunday meal, she would take the leftover and grind it up and add eggs and peppers and all kinds of stuff and make this, what she called a ham loaf. And it was kind of like a souffle type of thing, except she always overcooked it. So it was kind of dry and salty, and it had great potential, but like, ugh. We all had to put a smile on our face. Great, Mom, and slather of ketchup. All right. I've got some leftover potatoes. I cooked potatoes the other night, but I will admit, I cooked extra this week so that we would have leftover stuff for this live stream. Normally I wouldn't have cooked this amount of potatoes. Put them right in. They're just boiled potatoes. Nothing fancy. We'll just get them frying along. in a little bit, they'll start to soften and break down a little bit more. All right. So, where are we in my notes? I keep getting distracted by cooking. So, yeah, a lot of people hate leftovers. I know I really don't care for them that much, and now they just fill. There are exceptions, like I said, sauces, soups, stews are often better the next day. But as a general rule, I'm not a big leftover fan. I don't cringe, I don't get upset, and I know I had a friend growing up, and his dad would not tolerate leftovers. His poor mother, I don't know what they did with their food, but she had a family of 6 kids to feed and a husband, but it was something fresh and new every single day. Fortunately, my dad was not like that. My mother wouldn't have tolerated it, but... Yes? Oh, we're drinking. Okay, you're drinking with me.
Well, there. Yeah. Hit the right button.
Hit the right button, dear.
All right, we've got a few people. And again...
Are we getting too smoky? I think I might need to open the window.
No, you're good so far.
We're good? Okay.
If you're in our live stream today and you're watching us live in chat, please tell us where you're from. And in a little while, we'll pop up a map and see where you are.
So one of the things that I don't like about leftovers is that people will often try and save things that shouldn't be saved, and they intend to use them the next day. I've tried that. I've tried to save food, and then it gets shoved to the back of the fridge. Exactly. I always intend to use leftovers, but I never seem to before they go bad. That happens to me too. Like, oh, there's some string beans. I can have these for lunch tomorrow, and they get shoved to the back of the fridge. And then I go, where's that container? And now it's a science experiment. But some things I think shouldn't be leftovers, like shellfish. We had mussels last night, and we bought too many. We struggled to eat them all, but had we not, I don't know how we could have saved mussels and used them in something else, because if you cooked them the next day, they'd be rubbery and fishy.
I'm trying to see. I saw a Facebook question about that.
Did you?
Yeah. I'm trying to see where it is in my list. I thought I saw that yesterday.
Okay.
When I was answering all of these.
Oh. But I think that's part of the problem. Some people like to use things that really just throw it out. I'm going to add to this some carrots. Which camera? There we go.
There we go.
There we go. Happen to have some leftover carrots. And why not? It's colorful. There's a little butter in there too. They were buttered carrots. Lovely. Well, smells good anyway. I only buy enough for each meal so we don't have many leftovers, Amanda. Well, yeah, and I tend to do that too. But like Phil said, when we have company, like when the kids come to dinner, after the holidays, let's turn that way down. This is a new little stove I have here, and it works much hotter than the old one.
Okay, I knew I saw a question about this in our Facebook list. Here it is.
Here it is. Oh, what can I do with leftover fish? Okay, so it depends on what the fish is. There are some things, like regular fish, quite often can be saved and used in something else the next day. If you're going to take it to work and put it in the microwave and heat it up, then don't do that, because everyone will hate you. But you can do things like
Fish tacos.
Fish tacos. You can crumble it in a salad. You could make it into, like if you have leftover, say, leftover tuna steak. You cooked a couple, couldn't eat it all, make tuna salad out of it, right? Things like that. Or if you have salmon, make salmon salad. Make it into a sandwich. But I wouldn't, want to try and recook it and microwave it that way. Roast beef. This is leftover from Christmas. We didn't quite eat our Christmas roast beef, and like I say, I cryovac
Prime rib.
Well, yeah. I wasn't going to go there, dear, but okay. I cryovac'd it because Santa brought me one of those vacuum sealers for Christmas, so that's what I did, and it's still perfectly beautiful. I put it right in the freezer. Let's put this in. Why not?
Interesting. We got an interesting response here about leftover mussels.
Okay. Leftover mussels are awesome. Just put them in a jar of boiled water. Can add whatever you want. And out of season, you can pop as hard as it's delicious. Out of season. I never would have thought of that. We never have leftover mussels, but thank you. I would never think of that. Something like that. If we couldn't eat them all, they would unfortunately go right in the bin. We'll have to look at that.
All right, so we've got a few people playing here.
Okay.
Let's bring up the map and see where everybody is.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start from the blank map. And we've got
Where are
Hank
you all?
in Arizona. And
Right
of course, it can't figure that one out because it's abbreviated. We got
Put that
Melissa
back.
from North
Okay.
Carolina.
All right.
We got Kelly from Houston, Texas.
Yes.
We got Mary from Baltimore, Maryland.
Awesome.
We got Vicky, her first time from Rochester, New York.
Well, welcome to Let's Celebrate TV, Vicky. Thank you for tuning
Chatty
in.
from Minnesota.
Chat. A lot of new faces today. I'm loving it. Welcome, everyone.
All right, we'll bring the map up later for anyone who joins us. That was
That's
fun.
awesome, because didn't have Kevin from Winona, New Jersey.
Well, unless they put city and state, it won't do it.
Okay.
It won't do abbreviations. It has to do a lookup and figure out.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so hold on here.
Minnesota. Very
The
good.
computer geeks news, I have a program that goes out to Google, parses the name, figures out where you live from Google's map, and puts a pin on it. So if it can't figure out the abbreviation, it doesn't work. But it's still fun. A lot of websites use it. Thanks to John Barker from H2R Graphics, who does our lower thirds, for including it. And I get to test his wonderful software.
All right. So this is coming together pretty quickly. This hash I'm making. We could have this for breakfast. We could have it for dinner.
We have another one here.
Oh, from Newfoundland and Labrador. That is exciting. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here's a very rare leftover ingredient, especially in this house. I have leftover bacon. Pete, why in the blankety blank do you have leftover bacon? We've never heard of those words together, leftover and bacon. This is a mistake I make every single time. We have company in for the weekend. It's the last day. I think I'm feeding a crowd of 20. I'm feeding a crowd of 4, and I cook way too much bacon. So here we have it. And I'm just going to crumble it. It's just a few slices. Because why not? Why not use it up? I've learned over the years if I try and eat all the leftover bacon, I get wicked, wicked heartburn. But if I use it in something else, it's not so bad. I'm just going to roughly chop this because I want to know there's bacon in there.
All right, and Hank's got a good comment here.
Yeah? Breakfast hash is great from dinner. Yes, absolutely. There we go.
Now, we're not soup people, but this is true.
Soup is always better from the day it was made, as ingredients have time to marinate. Exactly. Right. Soup is definitely one of those things. It's better the next day. I do make a lot of soups, but we don't do many on Lctv because they never seem to do well. And yet people will write us saying, hey, I want a soup recipe. Do you have a soup recipe? And I'll do them, and then it's like, here's 3 views. It's quite perplexing. All right. I'm going to turn this off. The residual heat will keep this all warm.
Well, here's a change of topic.
I always make the same old things with leftovers. Do you have any new ideas?
So let me jump in here for a second.
Okay.
I think this is a great reason to talk about why we keep puff pastry.
Yes, dear.
And
Yep.
and
Back to my notes.
back to your notes
Yep.
about why we keep that stuff.
Yep.
Pot stickers come to mind.
Okay. So one of the most important things I think with leftovers is trying to transform them. I wouldn't want to eat leftover mashed potatoes night after night after night. But if you make those leftover mashed potatoes into something else, something more exciting, and it's a new experience, then yeah, I'm all about it. One of the things that I do is I always keep in my freezer puff pastry, phyllo dough, little wonton skins. Why? Because you can make almost anything with them. You can make little tartlets. When we were a couple weeks ago and we were preparing for this episode, I put out on Instagram and Facebook a picture of a turkey pie that I made with leftover ingredients. And one of the things I used, leftovers plus stuff in my pantry. I used the puff pastry as the crust for that pie. It was delicious.
Since we're big cocktail people, appetizers are great. So if you have wontons in the refrigerator, wontons.
Or in your freezer, you can freeze those
wrapped
wonton
in
skins.
hamburger meat or whatever was left over.
You can make pot stickers or
you can
dumplings.
make pot stickers in a heartbeat and have really, really good cocktail appetizers.
And that brings me to my point. What can you make? Think outside the box, right? Think about what you can make. Think about common ideas. And then try and take them to the next level. So use your pantry. Like I said, I keep puff pastry. There are certain pantry staples I keep around. My mom would get pizza dough and use leftovers to make weird but delicious pizzas. That's an excellent idea. Your mom was brilliant. I should start doing that. Yeah.
We don't eat pizza though. That's the problem.
We need to eat more pizza.
If we had pizza 4 or 5 times a year, that's unusual.
I know, because we don't have it often, and then we gorge ourselves and we get sick from it.
Okay,
Because
so we typically only have pizza when we're stress eating.
Yeah.
Because we had a really bad day, and we're pissed off, and no
Very
one's
true.
cooking, and we hate our jobs, and we're going to quit tomorrow,
Yeah.
and now we're ordering pizza.
Yeah. The pizza shops all know, like, ooh, these queens, we got to talk them off a ledge. But yeah, so use your pantry. Use what's in there. Be creative. Think about things. What I like to do is, okay, I have, on the rare occasion, I have leftover, say, ham. What can I make from it? Can I make a sandwich? Okay, you can make a ham sandwich, yawn. Oh, I can make a Monte Carlo. I could make a croque monsieur or a croque madame. Think that way. Take it to the next level. Can I make a pie from this? Can I make some sort of savory, unctuous pie, which is why I made that turkey pie with the puff pastry crust, which was... That may have to be an episode too, dear. Can I make it into a soup or a stew? I'm currently on disability, but I'm the mom, the nan, the neighbor that always shared and brought over things. Drill, will, and a special occasion, but the tight budget is really making that so hard. I get that. And your leftovers are a necessity, and that's a great way to stretch a dollar. When my mom was first married in the 50s, they made this much money. And even then, they didn't have a lot. So she learned to make a lot of things from common everyday ingredients.
And that one is related to this Facebook one.
Is it okay to serve leftover food to company? Well, I don't think it is, but I'll cover that too. I'm going somewhere with this, dear. Hold on. So yes, to your point, yes, using leftovers and stretching a dollar, it's tough, but it's necessary. So get creative. My mom used to use Campbell's tomato soup. She learned to take Campbell's tomato soup and make barbecue sauce, make spaghetti sauce. I know, my South Philly Italian friends, I know, forgive her, it was the 50s. It was necessary, and she lived in the North. So just, but yeah, she learned to take common things, combine it with leftovers, and make something wonderful. And it's amazing, and I like that challenge too. How can I change this up? Like, I have stuff back here, things I struggle with as leftovers. Like these lovely stocks in a box. Yeah, I use these all the time because I don't always have turkey stock or fish stock, or I forget and it's frozen in the freezer. So I always keep these things around, but then I use like a cup of it, and it's like, okay, what do I do with the rest of it? So I've learned to do things like, I'm making pasta. I'm gonna cook the pasta in the sauce. It adds another layer of flavor. How exciting.
So let's take 1 second
Okay,
and pat ourselves on the back,
okay,
because we hit another milestone the other day that I think people should know about.
okay. Yay us!
450,000 views,
Yep,
and YouTube projects we'll get 500,000 by May 1st.
yep.
Yay!
Yay us. Now, can you serve leftovers to company? Absolutely. Although I don't. I never do, especially all you people out there who have been to my house for dinner. I really don't. But you can. Absolutely. If you're going to, for example, I have a big tub of leftover rice here. I made too much rice. I just did. It happens. If we're having company tonight, you know what? I might sneak this. You could put it into a salad. You could use it to beef up a salad and make it heartier. I might make little rice cakes out of it as an appetizer. So think outside the box. Would I want to serve like yesterday's meatloaf to company? No, no. There's a practical limit, as my mother-in-law would say.
Yes, but meatloaf stuffed inside a wonton is a great pot sticker.
See, there you go. Thinking outside the box
Thank
and
you,
recreating.
and thank you, Teddy.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you.
And you look
Hope you and
new
Jerry
here.
are enjoying.
And just a reminder, if you've just joined us, please tell us where
Yes.
you're watching from so
Yep.
we can add you to our map. Mm-hmm. All right, it's that time that I get to do my segment.
Okay, go for it.
So you going for it?
Sure.
All right. So most of you know me and know us in our segment. We like to feature other small YouTube cooking channels that are out there. And that's because YouTube is a marathon, not a sprint, and it's a lot of hard work. So I'd like to introduce today's, let's see if I can get my right screen up here. Come on, Super Source, there we go.
There you
And today we're going to see Kevin from Man Kitchen Recipes. And Kevin is a lot of fun. And he's not so small. He's coming up on 10,000 users. Matter of fact, let's make this full screen. We don't need to see me. He's coming up on 10,000 users. He puts about 2 videos a week. Most of them are towards barbecue. He jokes that it's 5 men in a house, and someone's got to do the cooking, and they've done a really good job. If you are into pellet smoking, or you are looking at things like the black grills, smoked chicken pot pie, he's also very, very prolific in the social media. He has his own website. He's got an Instagram page. He has a Twitter page.
Wow.
He's got a TikTok page. And he's got a Facebook page. God bless you. That is a lot of work.
We can barely keep up with our Facebook
We
and
can
our
barely
Instagram.
keep with our Facebook. But check him out. He's got a lot of really good videos. He's personable and easy. And it's really, really kind of neat. So, oops.
I'm gone. What did
There
you
you
oh,
go.
there I
Back
am.
to you,
Phew.
Bob.
What did you do, dear?
I moved the cursor in the wrong spot.
Oh.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
Kevin's got one here.
Does that mean we're having rice cakes with cocktails tonight? Yes, and what wine are you going to bring to go with it?
And are you invited?
That's a real question. What wine are you bringing? Well, that's a great question, Kev. So now, see, thank you. Yeah, I think I need to punish you for this because now I have to put my money where my mouth is. What would I do? What would I make these little rice cakes? Salmon or tuna cold on top of salad. Right, absolutely. Stuff like that. I don't know about using or having leftover clams or oysters or mussels or something
Yeah,
like
I'm
that.
not sure what this is in relationship to,
I have a
but
pizza oven you do. You also have a kegerator that we would like to use.
we were
Just
still waiting for that
saying.
growler, just saying. Okay, speaking of that, somebody knows this well.
I keep seeing recipes that use leftover wine, but I don't know what that means exactly. I always ask that same question. There are a lot of recipes out there.
Oh, wait. But then there's a related one that goes with that.
I want to see you turn something leftover into a cocktail. Okay, I'm up for it.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. Absolutely. Yep. But see, now I'm thinking like, I have leftover pickle brine in the pantry, in the fridge. I've got leftover roasted garlic. I see a pickle martini maybe coming up. Or a new spin on a Bloody Mary. Yeah.
I guess we're tasting.
I have this nice South Jersey wine we got last
And we were
weekend.
just at the wineries in South Jersey last weekend.
Yeah, gee.
I wonder how that
Wherever
happened.
could you have gotten that from?
Oops.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's update the map again. We got a few more people.
Oh, good. That's exciting. I love it.
All right, so we got Chad from Minnesota.
Right. She was here before.
We got that. We got Teddy from New York City.
Yes.
We got Hank from Phoenix.
There you
There
are,
we go.
Hank.
Now we're there.
Awesome.
All right, so we'll keep adding to the map. It's kind of fun. Hopefully we'll be able to get some of our UK people in
Yeah.
here more regularly.
Uh-huh. Absolutely. I'd love that. Okay, so back to leftovers, if we may. Really, when you get in that transforming idea, that mindset, what else can I make with this? You can make breakfast, you can make dinner. Melissa, we'll wait until there are a few different leftovers and then clear them all out of the fridge in one meal that we call leftover madness, no matter how unrelated the dishes are. That's great. That is an awesome idea. Leftover madness.
Right,
I like that.
well, that's a similar take to our Salad Wednesdays, if you kind of think about it.
Well, yeah, we do tend to use all because I buy insane amounts of fresh produce every week. And then quite often it's, let's just make a salad out of it. Let's just throw it all in. So we have some very interesting salads.
All right, True Sticks is throwing it out there.
Hello, fabulous foodies. That's what we all are. Anyway, so when is enough with leftovers? I always try to use it within 48 hours, but then it finds a home in the bin. Yeah, I cleaned up too many science experiments from my mother's refrigerator when I was growing up because the fridge seemed to be endlessly deep and stuff just got pushed back, and then, excuse me, serve me meatloaf anytime, fresh or leftover. Absolutely, Dixie. You know you're always welcome. I would do that for you. And thank you for joining us. Truth, I love bake. I love baking now, so I keep flour, sugar, eggs, etc. Soup is amazing because there's a million things to do, especially on a tight budget, you guys. Thank you. And yes, you are correct on both things. You keep those basic things in the house, and you can go in any direction and create wonderful things, even on a really tight budget.
Am I going to get to taste that hash anytime soon?
Well, you're like hitting me rapid fire with these questions, dear, and I'm not even getting to my next point, so that's okay. What is your favorite and least favorite?
Hold on, let me bring it up again.
What is your favorite and least favorite leftover dish?
I know one of them.
What's that?
Dish or leftover item?
Okay, just
For the leftover, hold on, let me get me up here. Leftover item, it's definitely potatoes. Because
That's
we
your
don't have
favorite.
potatoes often.
That's your
So if
favorite,
we
yeah.
have leftover potatoes,
Right.
all the millions of things we can do with especially
Right.
mashed potatoes.
correct. That is your favorite. Let me get you a little dish here, dear. As I make me turn my back to the camera. All right. Favorite leftover dish. You love potatoes. I don't know that I have a favorite. Least favorite would be anything with fish, leftover fish. And I know we spoke earlier about, someone said how to make use leftover mussels, but just not my favorite thing. I think too many years of working in the office environment where someone made fish and brought it in and microwaved it and stunk it up to high heaven. All right, I'll give you a few extra potatoes, dear. And I'll get you a fork and a napkin. Cloth napkin, mind you. Mishmash Mondays in this house. That's fun. We do Salad Wednesdays, where we take whatever produce we have and whatever else we can find. Nothing here is left over for very long in my home. Well, that was true for us too when we had kids around, but now it's just us. Here you go, dear.
Yay! Now I have to eat and push buttons. Do you think I'm going to get them right now?
Well, see, that's why I was nibbling on it when you had the camera on you earlier when no one could see me, so I wouldn't have to do that.
All right, let me get into my Facebook list because there's
Okay.
a lot of them.
Really? All right, I'll have a little bite here. Pretty good. Can't come wrong when you add bacon to something. Or potatoes.
Oh, that's interesting.
What?
I'm not quite sure what to make of this one.
What is a leftover or dish that has many meals? That's a good question. That's an interesting take on it.
Wait, I think I know what that means. Whoops. Would that mean something like I made a meal intentionally on like a Sunday, and I'm going to have that on the exact same thing on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, or I made all of my meals for the entire
Right.
week.
Or is it, I live alone, so I roasted a whole turkey. What else can I make from that whole turkey? I can transform it into 15 other different meals. And look what, now I'm eating turkey all week, but it doesn't seem like it because I'm making turkey tetrazzini, turkey pie. Good. I'm glad you like it. So what are we feeding the kids when they come tonight? I guess leftover hash.
Hold on. This one's appropriate for us.
Okay. I am so over the many versions of Thanksgiving leftovers. Yeah, you know, turkey pot pie and turkey soup and turkey tetrazzini and turkey croquettes. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of times when we have that, like I did for Christmas, we didn't finish our prime rib roast, so I froze it. Cryovac it. I froze the bones I'm using for stock or soup. I froze the meat of it, which I used here today. And this is exactly what I would have done with it anyway. I didn't do this especially for the live stream. It just worked out that it was a perfect opportunity. But this is exactly what I would have done. I might have ground it up instead of chunked it. Who knows? But, yeah. So anyway, when is enough enough? That's a great question. When is it like, I can't face leftovers. This is ridiculous. From Sophie, I make garbage eggs breakfast, scrambled eggs, and anything left over in the fridge. Okay. That's interesting. Excuse me, didn't someone used to make garbage soup, someone in our family?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was rather revolting, as I remember. Kevin, do you remember that? Kevin, our son?
I think Kevin's quaking right now because he knows
Is that
all about
trigger?
that.
Is that a trigger for you? Yeah. I do remember that. My mom would do that often, too, when there were... fish cakes are great for leftover fish, branded meal. Correct, right. Depending on the fish, but you can make salmon cakes. Yeah, absolutely. You're right. And especially if you make them with leftover mashed potatoes, which I think is a traditional way to make them. When do leftovers transform into science projects? Well, that's the eternal question. When is it enough? Well, clearly when it's growing fur and moving around in your fridge, then yeah, it's time to go. But there is that.
You got it right.
I think it was my mother. Your father says yes, that was correct. I had the pleasure once, and anyway, so yeah, when is leftovers enough? Enough. So my feeling is, for me, if we have a turkey, then the next day turkey leftovers, fine. Maybe one day after that we'll have turkey soup, but then I need to freeze it or throw it out or something. I don't want to have turkey 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. I don't put leftovers in the refrigerator. I seal it, put it in the freezer, and deal with it later. Exactly, Ted. Right. And now that I have one of those seal a meal type cryovac things, I do the same thing. There have been lots of times where, actually, I need to go through my freezer.
Well, this roast beef, rib roast.
Right, this roast beef was one of those.
Cryovac.
But that reminds me, I need to go through my freezers because they're getting crowded with leftover stuff. That once I got this cryovac thing, Phil and I have been on this kick, ooh, what can we cryovac? What can we save? And now I opened my chest freezer the other day, and it's like, what is all this in here? I haven't bought all this food. I love taking a leftover ingredient and figuring out how to use it next. And that's awesome, and that's what we should do. But how often are we going to do that? You know, how often are we make this leftover turkey 5, 6, 7 days in a row? But no, I love that challenge.
I'm not sure if I like this one or hate this one. Ready?
Oh, sure. Bring it. I combine leftovers with 2 cans of Campbell's cream of something soup, and voila! I used to know someone who did that. She would say, I don't know how to make soup. I can't make soup. I just take whatever's in the fridge and I add cream of celery soup to it, a couple of cans, and then that's dinner that night. And I said, well, how do your kids feel about that? And she kind of didn't answer. She said, well, they eat it.
Here's another person who knows this well.
Leftovers are like an episode of Chopped. Instead of opening the basket, you open the fridge. Yeah. I probably should cook more volume of food so we have leftovers. We just don't enjoy them. I enjoy the everyday figuring out what am I going to cook. You know, when I do my shopping, I have a vague idea for the week, but I don't know. Maybe this is a new challenge I can work on with my Noom coach. All right.
Well, and some of that is when Peter's had a bad day, unlike most
Yeah.
people who have a really hard work day, the last thing you want to think about is cooking.
Right.
If he's had a bad day, that's exactly when
Right. Exactly. Don't talk to me. Get out of the
get
way.
out of the kitchen, let him
Let
get
me
a
just
knife
go.
and a hammer out and
Right.
beat something and make really good dinner
Right.
and get over it.
Yeah. Phil knows if I really like there's having a bad day when I say just get out of the way, I need to cook. And then there is that I've had a bad day, jump off a roof day where he's like, I'm ordering pizza. I'm ordering cheesesteaks. Just shut up, drink this martini. Yeah. Cryovac bagels. Yes, Kevin. Okay, bagels. You said beagles, but we'll work on your spelling. Yes. So my son says that a few weeks ago, I went and I got bagels for breakfast. He was over very early in the morning helping us do some projects around the house. So I went out early and I got bagels and all this stuff. And we thought, oh, let's cryovac them and put them in the freezer and we'll have fresh bagels for weeks and weeks. Not thinking the cryovac is a vacuum and it smooshed them. And we thought, okay, they're bagels, they're tough. They'll reinflate. They don't reinflate. No. So $35 worth of bagels were ruined by the stupid cryovac, by stupid us. Oh well. It was rather funny at the time.
And just a reminder, if you've joined us late, let us know where you're calling from.
Yeah.
Now, we see as many as 22 people watching the stream today, but only 3 likes. How about hitting that like button, please?
Yeah. Come on, kids.
I'm going to scroll
So
down through
I
the
have
list.
some other leftover things behind me I should probably talk about since my notes are over.
Hold on, I got a
What
few
do you got?
more.
What do you got? All right,
There's
bring
still
'em,
some more
bring 'em.
Facebook stuff.
Okay. Sometimes leftovers seem to taste better than the first time around. Right, like we've talked about, stews, soups, casseroles sometimes even, if you can set them up the night before, let those flavors all marry and come together, get to know one another, and then the next time you cook it, it's amazing. I've done that many times. Like when I make, I haven't shared it with all of you yet, but I do make an overnight French toast casserole. That's very good, and I make a corn casserole that has breakfast sausage and things in it. Yes, dear?
Hi.
Hi. Okay. Because you don't get enough potatoes, and clearly I haven't fed you today. So later on when we're having dinner, I don't want to hear, I'm full, I can't eat dinner tonight.
I'm just the button pusher.
Uh-huh, okay. Sure. So anyway, I brought a bunch of leftovers. Here's a very common one. Leftover pasta. Now I know some of you might be clutching your pearls right now because naked pasta. Why didn't you put it in the sauce? Why didn't you let it cook in the sauce? Because the
Do
dish
you know
has-
how much pasta we have left over from making all these episodes
Yes, and this
about
is
pasta? And we just filmed another one
yes.
that will be out on Tuesday.
That's coming up. This is actually dried pasta that I had cooked the other night and cooked way too much of it because I wasn't paying attention and wasn't thinking about it. It was one of those bad days, and I was just in a cooking frenzy and yeah. Somehow thought we can eat a pound and a half of pasta, dump it in. What could you do with this? Think outside the box. There's a dish called pasta mama that is served for breakfast, and it uses eggs and bacon. Not quite like a carbonara, but it's, again, take this leftover sticky pasta, transform it into something else. You could put this with eggs and other stuff and make a big frittata type thing out of it, like a big spaghetti egg pie. That's actually a real dish. There's lots of things you can do. There's a blank canvas. Think of it that way. Oh, excuse me. There's always another thing I struggle with. I love buying these big cans of tomatoes because we use a lot of tomatoes in my stuff, in my recipes. I tend to buy the smaller cans normally. Recently, our one grocery store chain, ShopRite, had can sale. So they had like, buy 12 of these for $2. So like 3 days we went, both of us got 12 cans. I have so many tomatoes in my house right now, and it's all these big cans. So I opened this last night for a recipe. I think I need to use this tonight. So I got to think about that. So kids, if you're coming to dinner, we're having something with crushed tomatoes. All of my meals are technically leftovers. I cook on Sunday for the entire week. I know a lot of people that do that. I don't know that I could. That requires sitting down and planning out a menu for the week, which when I have done it, Phil loves it because there's no question. I prefer the we'll figure it out method and what do I feel like eating. If I plan out Wednesday, we're going to have chicken thighs and we're going to barbecue them and blah, blah, blah. Come Wednesday, I might not want chicken thighs. I might just want a salad or I might want a bowl of soup or steaks or something. So I don't tend to do that. I know a lot of people love to cook and prep. I don't have it in me. But yeah, you're right. Technically, they are leftovers. I use the 1 in, 1 out method for leftovers so it doesn't take over the refrigerator. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good point. That's something I should start doing like with my little stocks here. As much as I love to make my own stocks, I keep them in the freezer, I don't always, or I forget that they're in the freezer. So I always keep those boxes around, and then I think, like I said, I forget about them, and then they go bad. So yes, that's a good policy to have. What else you got, dear? Soup is something my family had any time things were needed to be used up. So probably once every second week, coming from 15. Wow, that's a big family. Yeah, I make soup quite often. I know Phil said we're not soup people, but he misspoke. That's how my mom used to do it too. She would. What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry. Hold on. This will make sense in a second.
Dad says, I don't care what you want, you get what Mom makes. Yes, that was true in my house growing up. Absolutely. You did not question our mother. This was dinner, period.
And wait, we just did a live stream on cooking for the picking eatings.
Yeah, we did. We did, right. That's true. My mom used to make vegetable beef soup with all the frozen vegetable things that she had. She would buy a big bag of frozen corn, but she wouldn't need to cook it all at once, so there'd be a little bit left over. And then she'd have 3 or 4 of them and 3 or 4 little bags of peas or carrots or whatever, and then she would just make these wonderful soups out of them. A little chuck roast cut up, and there you go. That's actually how I learned to make soup. But that's a great way to do it. Unlike the garbage soup that someone in our family makes, I don't really care for, but my mom made Hungarian goulash out of leftovers, like spaghetti sauce and leftover meatloaf. See, again, that's creative thinking. And I'll bet there's lots of recipes out there. Maybe I need to make leftover next week, make meatloaf next week, and try and transform it into goulash, dear.
Hey, would this make Mackenzie happy?
Wish I could figure out how to make a dessert out of leftovers. Me too, Manny. Me too.
And there's a piece of pie as an emoji.
Yeah. Or is that
Good.
cake?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how can I turn this hash into dessert? Really, though, depending on what it is, you probably could.
All right, that is all the Facebook questions.
All the Facebook questions. How are we? We got 7 minutes left. Is that right?
We got about 7 minutes. So yeah, let's talk about what we got coming up. And
What do we have coming up? We have a lot. We have a lot coming up. So we finally finished the series on the mother sauces and got that episode published.
And it was the last one was a huge success.
Huge hit, yeah. So what do we have coming up? We finally also did the episode on how to make fresh pasta with all of the metric measurements for our UK and other parts of the world that use metric system. So we did that. We have 2 different cocktail episodes coming up. The one we did today, the orange blossom, and then we have an orange teeny. And the reason two orange cocktails is spring is coming around the corner. It's almost here, and I wanted something fresh. How are you doing first time? Oh, Chris, thank you for joining us. You look like a thinner Andrew Zimmerman. Guess I missed it. Thank you. We're almost over, Chris, but you can watch it on replay.
Let us know, Chris, let us know where you're watching us from so we can add you to the map.
Thank you so much for joining us. That's a dear friend of ours, Chris Hagen. Anyway.
No, it's Christian Hansen.
Oh, I thought it was Chris Hagen.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, you did miss it. Anyway. What was I saying? Cocktails coming up. Spring is coming. I wanted something lighter and brighter and I found these oranges in blood oranges and navel orange. And I thought I need to make cocktails. So
Oh, we got a second one from Houston, Texas now.
oh,
So
okay.
let me pop.
Yes, put that up.
Let's put Kristen up on the map in Houston.
Yes, please. Welcome aboard. Welcome. Let's celebrate. Glad
So
you're
we got
here.
2 from Houston. Yay.
What else is coming up, dear? I had a whole. I keep
How
getting
about our
on
next live stream? The controversial one?
Okay. Our next live stream in 2 weeks, which is the day before my birthday. Just putting that out there. It's the day before Pete Fest. Actually, it's Pete Fest now, but whatever. It's all about.
Wait.
What?
Let's clarify what Pete Fest is.
I was getting there.
Some people have birthdays.
I have birth weeks.
My husband has a birth week. So Pete Fest starts on the Sunday of the week of his birthday and ends on the
Right.
following Saturday.
And in this instance, it's starting the Friday before my birthday, which is St. Patty's Day, because my gift to myself is I'm having a dinner party on the 18th. So it starts Friday the 17th, goes all the way through the next week, and I fail to see the problem. And I don't think it's too much to ask that one time a year, on the day it was born, that my husband be happy and celebrate the fact that I was even born. And the same thing for my kids, and they always do. They really do. They take good care of me. Anyway, our next live stream is going to be all about cast iron. We're going to be taking the myth out of cast iron. We're going to be debunking some of those myths, cooking with it, how you can cook with it, how you should take care of that. This is one of my new pieces. I just got this big guy last week. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're going to be
If
seeing a lot more
you're
of
in the
these.
U.S. and you are a Sam's Club member, run down there right now. They have a special for $49 of
So this is a
3 pieces of Lodge cast iron.
13-inch skillet,
Yep,
an 8-inch skillet, and a 12-inch griddle
yep.
for $49. This alone is worth more than that. So yeah. Anyway, so what else do we have coming up? We've got that. That's why when figuring out dinner is done, I always know dessert will be great. Absolutely. What else we got?
So we have the 2 orange gin cocktails.
Right. Yeah, they're both gin cocktails. Yay.
We have a regular episode, which is an extension of our
The pasta coming up.
pasta live stream.
Yep.
So we did it as a video.
Right, we have some basic skills. One of the basic skills, the next one coming up, is how to supreme a citrus fruit. And that's a great little skill that everyone should have. So we'll be doing that. And I have a couple other ideas for things coming up for regular episodes after pasta. But of course, we always want to hear from you and your ideas. So send us recipes, share them. Even if you don't know what the recipe is, if you say, my mom used to make this tomato thing, I'll figure it out and we can air it.
Oops, hold on. I can't type here. I'm trying to copy this over from Facebook.
Oh.
Keep going. I'll be there in a second.
Okay, all right. So yeah, supreming citrus is fun. We have, I don't know where my phone is now to look it up, but I have several new things. And I'm trying to elevate the recipes a little bit, challenge you all a little more. You know, when we started this channel 5 years ago, we were really keeping it simple, and I'm still keeping things simple, but I want to bring it up a little notch and keep challenging you because you all keep challenging me. And yes, keep following us on Facebook and Instagram and sending us those questions and comments and things.
So in our Facebook group, we always kind of put what we're doing this weekend. And last weekend, we had friends down, so we took them on some trips of the New Jersey wineries, which are surprisingly good.
Yep.
So this question just came in.
What did you get in last Jersey wine weekend? Oh, you know, we didn't get as much as we normally do. You know, we didn't bring home like the normal 30 bottles. We got some very good Cabernet Francs, some very good Merlots, some Chamboursin from Charlotte.
So let's see.
I'm
trying to think where we went.
Sparkling wines.
We started out at Hawk Haven in Cape May.
Yep.
Then we went to Willow Creek in Cape May.
Uh-huh.
Jarrett Winery in Hamilton, New Jersey, which is blueberry capital of the world.
And then Amalthea.
Then we went to Almathea and Atco.
Yep.
And then came home and drank a lot of wine.
Box wine, though, because we were like, we're not opening these bottles yet. We're going to drink box wine. Yeah, we got some sparkling wine. We got a new sparkling wine from Charlotte, I think.
Yes.
We may have to have that tonight. I'm feeling in a bubbly mood. If you
Survival
can't
mood?
tell.
Survival mood.
Well, you know, if the kids are coming, we haven't seen Kenzie in like a minute. Yeah, so we didn't get a lot, but we got a nice amount. Some Merlots, Cab Francs, sparkling, couple rosés that were a surprise that we both really liked. All right, what else you got, dear?
I got nothing from Facebook.
Nothing. And where are we on time? I think we're getting close.
Yeah,
We're
got
there,
about
4:30.
3 or 4 minutes, and then we are there.
All right.
I thought I would.
You thought of what? What?
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I thought I was being
challenged.
challenged. Not sure I understand that one. Oh, I get that. That's
What?
in relationship to this one. Sorry, I missed this one first.
Oh, I truly enjoy baking. It's delicious and affordable. Before that, I was so into cooking.
And then
I thought I was being challenged.
right.
Okay. You know, baking is a science. I do bake, and I do bake on this channel, but not like other people. So I'm sure like this viewer, I had a brother who was a professional bakery and pastry chef, and it was amazing the stuff he could do, but it's not for me. I prefer the freer hand of savory cooking. But I like to bake, and I do things just to challenge myself. Like we just did that lime cake recipe that was inspired by our friend In the Kitchen with Karen.
But the irony of that is our most successful episode, which is only a few thousand away from 100,000, is Scottish shortbread.
Well, and that's a recipe I grew up making. You know, so I've been making that for over 40 years, which is painful to say. So yeah, I don't know if that counts. But, you know, could I make a pâte à choux and make cream puffs or eclairs or something like that? Probably, but probably not as well as someone else who loves baking and can do all that.
He watches the Kids Baking Challenge on Food Network and sees 12-year-olds making pâte à choux and mumbles under his breath.
Didn't even know what that was when I was 12. Anyway, yeah, so maybe I'll do some more baking for you all. Or maybe we can say, how can we turn leftovers into baking and a dessert?
Leftover pie.
Right? Well, why not? Right? Leftovers, eclairs, yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap this up. First, let's show the
good.
map of where we ended
Where we
up
all
with
are.
today.
Minnesota, Houston, Phoenix, North Carolina.
We know we have a good audience in UK. I don't see any of them in chat today, so we're going to try to do this every week so you can all see where you're watching and calling from.
And that's something we are considering right now. We do live streams every 2 weeks. We are toying with the idea, discussing, do we want to go every week live stream? Would you all tune in? Can we keep up that pace? Because these are great fun for us. Not only because I'm a big ham and I love being in front of the camera talking to all of you, but Phil loves all the techie stuff that he gets to push all of his buttons and set it all up.
Well, that being said, we spend 8 to 12 hours preparing for one of these. It's not, so it's kind of a reverse. When we film an episode, it may take 3 to 4 hours to prep it the week of because we're testing the recipe, 2 hours to film it, and then 6 hours to edit it, upload it, and keyword it. So a typical episode is about 20 hours of work. A live stream people think, well, you're only on for an hour, so you're only doing an hour. Well, no, there's about 8 to 10 hours of prep that go into that, including putting up polls and talking to our Facebook people so we can get those questions in, getting those in. So we spend 8 hours on that. Now, the only good part is once we stop this camera in about 2 more minutes and unplug everything, we're done.
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat.
But, which makes me think of bringing it back to leftovers, which is what this live stream was all about. You know, when we do test those recipes, we do often have leftovers for those. That is one-time exception. I vote every other week. Me too, Hank. Like when we did the lime cake. I don't know how many of those darn lime cakes or the pasta when we were getting ready for the... We were giving them to neighbors. He was taking them into work. It was just...
Pasta.
I still have pasta in my freezer.
3 a night, 3 batches a night for about 2 weeks to get it down packed.
And
and even recording it last night because we hadn't done it in a month. It was like,
boy, did
I have to do a lot of
practice.
editing.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't made it in, well, 2 months now, and I fell out of practice just that fast. So I still have a lot of, though, pasta in my freezer from getting ready for that episode. All right, are we about ready to wrap up? Because if we're having company, I think I need to get cooking.
We will see you all in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll see you on Tuesday. If you haven't signed up for our mailing list,
Please do.
please do. On Wednesdays, we send out a very small email, which is the printed recipe for the episode on Tuesday, the last cocktail episode, and what the next live stream is. It's one a week.
Yep. So we're not
No
spamming
spam,
you.
and it's really short. It's just the printed recipe.
Yep. And
So in all of the show notes, there's a section that says sign up for our newsletter.
And if you haven't, good show. See you. Thanks, Hank. We'll see you soon.
Hit that like button today. That'll help us.
Hit that subscribe button if you haven't, especially if you're new. That helps us out.
And if you have any more comments about
Yes, always.
What to do with leftovers, put them in the show notes below.
Visit our website, letscelebrate.tv. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. There you go.
And if you have ideas for the show or what you would like to see on our next episode that we film, send us an email to info@letscelebrate.tv and we'll set it up with you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone. So we'll be signing off. We'll be hanging out and chat for a few more minutes. So thanks. This is great fun, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.